Little hike out here today, guys, and you can see the stream down there. I don't want to get too close to it while I'm on camera because I don't want to wash out my sound, but just out on a hike today to talk about this watch right here. This is a Bear GRYLLS and Luminox collaboration, and you know, Bear GRYLLS is the most well-known guy in survival in the entire world. You can go anywhere, ask anybody on the street, and they know who he is. So I was pretty happy to see him team up. I saw this like maybe a month ago in a magazine, an online magazine that I follow, and they had this watch, and I was like, wow, you know, because during my Marine Corps career, I wore two different watches, a G-Shock and a Luminox. My Luminox was like my high-end when I saved up for it. I think it was like $200, and it was great because the tritium technology didn't give off a big glow. I jumped out of airplanes with them, shot, you know, a bunch of rounds off with them, and worked well. So anyhow, we'll go ahead and take a look at this, or this on the tabletop, so we can get a better look at this cool piece here. So taking a look at the Bear GRYLLS watch, this is the Survival 3740 Master Series version, and so you know, Luminox is known for the tritium gas tubes that they use to, you know, for low light timekeeping. They're kind of like the pioneers in that. I've seen a few other people do it. I think Marathon and I think a few other brands do it too, but they are I think the ones that really started it. But taking a look at it, what we have here is a 45mm case, so it's a little bit on the large side, about the size of, you would say, a standard G-Shock. You can see my G-Shock there, so about the same size as that. It's got a Carbonox case, which is a hard-pressed carbon case, super lightweight, but very, very hard. You know, obviously it won't scratch and stuff like that because it's the carbon, it's not metal, and you won't have the steel that pops through on a lot of other black watches. This is a Swiss-made watch, has the Ronda 5030 D chronograph movement, so it's a Swiss-made quartz, so it's actually got Swiss-made down here like you'd see on luxury watch brands like Omega, Rolex, things like that, Tag Heuer. So it's got the Swiss Ronda movement in it, which is a great movement. A lot of micro brand watches actually use that movement, and it's something reliable, especially being quartz. You know, you can jump, you know, do all kinds of crazy things with lots of shooting, where something like an automatic would, you know, fail or have issues. Even though this is, you know, this Master Series, they have a Land Series and a C Series, and they have a lot of different survival features on those as well, which are pretty cool, and I'll put a link to the website so you can check those out. But this being the Master Series, it kind of encompasses everything. So it's got a 300 meters with which is you know, 1,000 feet that you can use this as a dive watch even, and that's, you know, pretty unique for a chronograph. A lot of chronographs can't be submerged, so that's a cool thing. I don't know that I want to use the chronograph in underwater because, you know, that could damage it, but you can use it as a dive watch. Has a unidirectional bezel, so it doesn't go back this way, so it can function as a dive watch. You can put your, you know, your time lapsed while you're diving there. Also on the bezel ring here, you'll see there's the markings for bearings, so you can use that as a compass. And let's take a second and we'll talk about how to So what we're going to do to use this watch as a compass is we're going to line up the hour hand, which I'm going to do that with the sun. So the sun's over here in this direction. It's almost overhead. This is our north, this is our south. So I'm going to split that between the hour hand and the 1 p.m. because today is daylight savings time. Normally we would split that noon hand. So we're going to put that 30 in the middle of the hands there. And so now this should be our north and south line, this being north, this being south. You can see the degree markings on the bezel. We can use that to navigate with. I'll check it with this compass here. A little slow. But you can see the same degree markings lined up there. And that's how you use your watch, your analog watch. So the biggest aspect of the watch is the tritium, obviously, and what we have here is 25-year life tritium tubes here, which is pretty cool, and you don't need any light source to charge it. It's already charged because it's a chemical like isotope, so it's going to be giving off that light. What I think is pretty unique about it is that the hour hand and all the markers are green, whereas the minute hand is orange, and then the top 12 o'clock is orange, as well as the top tritium tube that's in the north marker of the bezel is orange as well. The other thing I like is in the dark you can easily tell what time it is based on the orientation of the tritium tube. So you have horizontal and vertical tritium tubes, so that way you can kind of tell the time in the dark. The chronograph function, obviously, to start it, you press the top button and it'll start kicking that main seconds hand. It has a small second, so the small seconds is the one that's counting all the time, which is very cool. Always like the small seconds. Then just start back and reset that. You got to start, stop, and all that kind of thing. Here at the 6 o'clock you have a date, so another function there as well, which is pretty cool. And you know, the timing thing with the chronograph I really like. If you're cooking food, maybe you're using a purification tablet to purify your water. It takes 30 minutes with a chlorine tab or something like that. Time is a critical thing in survival, so it's good to have. Around the bezel here, you've also got SOS, the Morse code for that. On the back, you've got the 316L steel back case, screw down back, and it says never give up, which is Bear Grylls, basically telling you never give up, don't quit. We've got a screw down crown here, so the add in the water resistance has also got a rubberized orange piece here, which I really like. You can get this watch with an orange band, but I like the black, the tactical look a lot. So screw down crown, so you're not gonna get water in there. And then also the strap, amazing strap. It's probably one of the most comfortable ones I've ever felt. Very thick, very rugged, very good thick hardware there. 316L steel too. I do really dig this compass. This comes on, it's removable, so if you don't want to wear it, you can take it off. But it's a wet compass, and I'm sure it's got the flammable liquid in here. Kerosene is what usually is used, so you can use that as a fire starter. It's got a little white floating disc there. I really like that with the orange ring. It also has a rotational bezel ring there, so you can actually navigate with this compass. And you can take it off if you don't like it, or put it in a survival tin, whatever you want to do. Alright guys, that is the Bear Grylls Master Series watch. I think it's a great piece of gear. Like I said, I definitely trust Luminox. I've worn them for years, and I definitely like this. This is probably my favorite thing I've seen they've come out with. I was happy they partnered with Bear Grylls. He's, like I said, notable guy in the survival community, and the most well-known. You go ask any stranger and they're going to know who he is. Usually it's for drinking his own urine is what they'll say, but it's a cool watch. I definitely dig it. I'll put the link below, and as always guys, thanks for watching, and let me know your thoughts below, and take care.